right, so today what I want to do is I want to teach you about the final world empire, okay, which is the kingdom of the Antichrist. It's spoken about in the book of Daniel, chapter 2, chapter 7, and the book of Revelation 13. We're living in the last days, so it's important for us to understand the times that we are currently living in, because this final world empire is being built right now. So in Daniel chapter 2, Nebuchadnezzar, who is the king of Babylon, has a dream. And he wakes up from the dream. And to make a long story short, Daniel ends up interpreting the dream for Nebuchadnezzar. And this is the interpretation that Daniel received from the Lord concerning Nebuchadnezzar's dream. And so what this dream depicts is an image that was divided into 4 parts. So when we talk about him seeing an image, we're talking about him seeing a large statue. And this large statue was divided into 4 parts. And so Daniel begins to tell the king what each part represents. Daniel chapter 2, starting with verse 31. He says, "You, O king, saw, and behold, a great image, or a great statue of a man. This great image, whose brightness was excellent, stood before you, and the form or the appearance thereof was terrible or frightening." Then he said, "The image's head was fine gold, his breast and his arms silver, his belly and his thighs brass or bronze, and then his legs were iron, and his feet were part iron and part clay. You saw till a stone was cut out without hands, which struck the image at his feet, that were both iron and clay, and broke them into pieces. Then was the iron, the clay, the brass, the silver, the gold broken into pieces together, and became like the chaff of the summer threshing floor." Now, what is chaff? It's basically debris from destruction. "And the wind carried them away, that no place was found for them. And the stone that struck the image became a great mountain and filled the whole earth." All right, that was Daniel chapter 2, verses 31 through 35. And so what did we learn so far? We learned that Nebuchadnezzar saw a statue of a great image, and the head was the head of gold. The breast and the arms were silver. The belly and the thighs were brass or bronze, and the legs were iron, and the feet part iron and clay. So now let's read what this actually means. Daniel chapter 2, verse 36. Let's start there. "And now we will tell the interpretation to the king. You, O king, are a king of kings. For God of heaven has given you a kingdom, power, strength, glory. And wherever the children of men dwell, the beasts of the field and the fowls of heaven has he given into your hands, and has made you ruler over them all." He says, you are the head of gold. So what is the head of gold? The head of gold is King Nebuchadnezzar, and he is the king of what? Babylon. "After you shall arise another kingdom inferior to you, and another kingdom of brass, which shall bear rule over all the earth. And the 4th kingdom shall be strong as iron. For as much as iron breaks in pieces and subdues everything, and as iron that breaks all of these, shall it break in pieces and bruise." All right, so what is he saying? He's saying here, the first part of the image is a head of gold that represents Babylon. Then he says, "After you shall arise another kingdom." Well, what kingdom rose after Babylon? Medo-Persia. History tells us that, and the Bible tells us that. And then after Medo-Persia, what kingdom rose after that? Greece. And then after Greece, what world empire rose after that? Rome. So Nebuchadnezzar has a dream of a great image. That great image was divided into 4 parts. Each part represented a kingdom that would rule subsequently after him. And then there's one final aspect to this dream, and that is the stone cut out without hands. Let's read what that means. Daniel 2, verse 44 says this: And in the days of these kings, shall the God of heaven set up a kingdom which shall never be destroyed. Now, whose kingdom will never be destroyed? That's Jesus's kingdom. And the kingdom shall not be left to other people, but it shall break in pieces and consume all of these kingdoms, and it will stand forever. So he's talking about Jesus when he comes back at his second coming. What he's going to do is he's going to be a stone cut out without hands, meaning a kingdom that is cut out without human effort, meaning that it is the work of God, not the work of men. And when he comes, he will come and crush these kingdoms, and his kingdom will be established forever in the earth.